Welcome back. In this video, we will look at user management in SYNCHRO Control. Let's go to Administration and then Manage Your Team. Here we can see everyone that is a part of this particular project, and it gives us a quick way to see what roles they have, their emails, and their organizations. User's name, email, role, and organization are all searchable on this page. To add a user, click on Add Users. If the user is within your organization, you can search for the name, select the user, assign a role, and click Save. If the user is outside your organization, you need to add them by their email. The message shows that the user is outside the organization. Pick a role, click on Save, and the user will be added to the project. You can add users in bulk by clicking on Import Users. To edit a user's roles, select the user and go to Assign Roles to add the roles to the user. With the user selected, you can remove it by clicking Remove Users. From this table view, you can also sort and filter each column. By clicking on Roles, it will take me to the Role Management portal. Here I can see all the roles I have created for this project. How many users have been assigned to this role, and then what is the description of that role is. So if we, for example, look here at the contributor, we can see that it has been assigned to 3 users in the project. Now I can click on that and see who these assigned users are. I can remove them one by one, or I can choose to remove them all. Click on the role name under General Information. We can edit the role name and role description. For access, here we've given the contributor control access, which means they have a 4D review field and guest access. That allows them to access SYNCHRO Control and SYNCHRO field. If you give them 4D access, it additionally gives them access to 4D, both SYNCHRO 4D Pro and SYNCHRO Modeler. Expand administration, and you can choose to have the role have certain administrative rights in the project. For example, whether this role can add or remove users from the project, or if this role can re-provision the project from a selected template. The document permissions here are set for the entire project, meaning if I give read-write permissions to this role, any user with this role will have read-write access to the document section. Later in this video, I'll also demonstrate how to set permissions on folders, which overwrites the settings here. Here you have a default permission that, for the most part, can give you the ability to provide access to data like specifications, design drawings, and safety instructions that most users on the project would need. On the other hand, for specific documents or files, like contract information or details on the payroll, that you do not want to expose to most of your project's stakeholders, you can set those specific folders on No Access or Read-Only permission. You can also set the permission for this role on Document Administration Permissions and PDF Plan Set Permissions. For the forms created in your project, you can first decide whether it can administer forms and workflows. Also, for each form type, you can set the role's permission on View, Comment, Create, Assign, Approve, or Full Access. The flexibility here means you can add permissions to specific forms instead of the entire project. So now, instead of having a role has access to all of these forms in the project, you can now set specifics. So in this case, for the contributor, we set the contributor's permission for each form type. If you bring external participants into the project, you can assign a role to those participants with limited viewing permissions to certain forms in this project. Looking into the iModel, we can see that this user has one of the 4 permissions available to read the iModel. Another permission here allows you to create, configure, and remove the iModel. Read iModel quantities and administrate iModel quantities. These two permissions are set for the SYNCHRO modeler with quantity takeoff. The 4D scheduling permission section is for SYNCHRO 4D Pro, where a role can be assigned read-write permissions to properties of a 4D model, such as resource statuses, user field, 4D animation, and so on. Last, we have the cost permission setting, where a role can be set to create contracts in the cost module. Click on Cancel, and it will take us back to the Roles Management module. We can add a new role by selecting Add Role. This is the same as editing an existing role, as we just went over. With a role selected, we can assign role to users. We can delete the roles selected as well. Like the Users Management module, we can perform searches in the Roles Management module. That sums up the Users and Roles Management. Click on Documents, select a folder, go to the Meatball button, and click Set Folder Access. Now you can set read-write permission for each role. The settings here overwrite the settings back in the Roles Management module. Once the folder has been secured, a shield icon shows us that permissions for this specific folder have overwritten the ones for the entire project. This allows us to understand where we have special permissions and project-level permissions, making it easier to know where exactly permissions have been set for the specific folders. And that's all I have for this video. You did a great job on following along, and I will see you in the next one.